So this is today's development. I've been doing some CAN work in preparation for OBDIIC&C version 2, which will probably have a remote display. So I was just seeing if I could make that CAN communication work before we go down that route. So here we have two OBDIIC&Cs, both CAN enabled with the CAN boards on, and an LTO BMS board in the middle between the two devices on the CAN bus. The termination resistors are on both of the OBDIIC&C boards. So the OBDIIC&C at the back is the TX board, that's this one, and as you can see this is actually transmitting, and the number at the bottom is the number of CAN packets it's transmitting. So it's transmitting 1,000 every couple of seconds, and each packet is 8 bytes long. And this particular board, or OBDIIC&C, I've given this the ID of hex 100, which is the top line on the right there, and that's a decimal value of 256. So this one's got an ID of 100, and that's lower than the ID of the LTO board. So the TX on this takes priority over the transmission on the LTO board. So the receiving module here, you'll see here, that's receiving ID 100 hex, 256 decimal, and it's receiving the packets churning in here. And the only reason this one is running slightly slower than the transmitter is it's displaying all the data on the bottom there. There's the 8 bytes you can see. I mean, it's moving so fast that the LCD's got no chance of keeping up with the incoming data stream. So basically what we're seeing there is then that we've given the OBD at the back there the high priority transmission, and that's overriding any of the LTO BMSs, and its information is getting through to the receiver here. But if I then press this button on here, this will disable this from transmitting further while I hold the button down, and we should then see the ID changed to 208, which is the ID of the LTO board, and the LTO information starts coming through. So by changing the priority of the IDs, the lower IDs have higher priority, we can adjust the way it transmits and receives on the bus. So the idea of this was basically to see if the CAN communication between the two OBD type devices, the master and the slave display, was going to be possible, and also have the LTO BMS boards on the same bus, which it looks like it will be. So that's quite a good development. So I'm going to do a bit more coding on this, and we'll see where we go from here. So it's just proof of concept really, but it's a useful demo, and you can see how fast it is. I mean, this is transmitting very fast, thousands of packets or thousands of bytes a second, and that can easily send information from the master board to the remote display board. So that's where we are today.